Hey Patrick.
GM, my friend, how's life?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. Um, I got hacked, but we'll talk about it later on.
Ooh.
But for the rest, life is pretty good.
Yeah, I got hacked. Life is good. Okay, yeah. Welcome to the club, my friend.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
got hacked a couple of times over the last couple of weeks, so yeah, hopefully not too bad, but you're laughing, so I hope not too bad.
No, it's not too bad.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm freezing my ass off, and I look like a hamster. I just ate too much salt yesterday, so I think I'm doing somewhat fine as well. But man, I can't wait for the summer to return. I can't wait for it. The warmth and stuff like this, and the girls, and okay, different topic. And yeah, what about we just start? And did you make any changes to your portfolio this week? Anything remarkable?
Um, Not that I know of. Oh yeah, one. I made one change to my portfolio. On Metis, I was in a Metis. Yeah, basically what I did is I supplied USDC and USDT, and I
Hmm.
borrowed Metis, and then I was farming with a Metis USDC pair.
Hmm.
And last weekend, I decided to, unwind this whole thing and just keep my USDC and USDT supplied to a borrow lending protocol, but not borrow a Mantis against it.
Hmm.
So I guess this is my only, you know, relatively big change that I made.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I've also been trying to find ways to get my money off Mantis, but it's really expensive to do it in a lot of ways. So
Hmm.
it doesn't make sense to remove it. I would be better off in terms of APR if I just wait for more bridges to Metis to be made and more platforms to integrate it.
Hmm.
What
Did,
about you? Did you make any changes to your portfolio?
um, yeah, I did one thing. Do you want to take a guess what I did?
Well, I think you may have already told me during the week if I don't recall incorrectly. I think what you said is that you sold some of your probably BTC or ETH, one of the two, and then you bought some risky assets like Neo and others.
Hmm. Yeah, this is one thing I did, but this was super small. I sold some BTC for Mina. Um, Mina is a layer 1 protocol. They are building around ZK Sync, and I think they are pretty legit. And I think sooner or later they will get pumped into the top 30 at least. That's just my gut feeling. And the other thing I did is, yeah, I transitioned some more of my BTC into ETH. So, but this is a question I have for later on. So yeah, I just transitioned a little bit from BTC more to risk on assets. And for now, the timing was not good because yeah, the market dumped, and whenever the market dumped, then BTC outperforms basically the other assets. So yeah, long term, mid term, I think it's a really good bet, but short term, who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
You bought some Near, right? And didn't Near do well, I think, but I
I
haven't checked the
bought
prices.
some near about 3 months ago
Oh, okay.
when it was at like $5 or so, and I bought quite a good chunk. Then I panic sold when BTC reached 30K about a couple of months ago. So yeah, hodl is the only strategy that I'm really good at, I guess. And whenever I try to trade, I just underperform hodling. I just reflected on it yesterday evening, and I'm a really, really bad trader in the short term, really bad. But I'm a really good hodler. And whenever I hodl something, I make money. Um, but whenever I try to trade, I just underperform massively. So yeah, maybe little bit more hodling is needed and less trading. So this is why I bought Mina, because I think Mina is a good long-term bet for the next 12 months plus, not for the next 12 days plus. So I'm trying to rearrange my portfolio in a way where I can hodl things confidently for at least 12 months, and I don't try to play any narratives because yeah, I'm just not a good trader, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, interesting, Patrick. Um, yeah, I don't have anything to add. I'm
Yeah.
also not that good at trading, so that's why I hodl. Plus, I don't have a lot, yeah, I don't have anything on centralized exchanges. So for
Mm,
me, it's also a little bit harder to trade, I would say, because I
yeah.
on decentralized exchanges you have to pay swap fees and all these kind of things if you wanna
Mm,
trade. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, what about we transition to the remarkable things and get into the topics?
Yeah, sure.
I have two topics. What about you? Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'll start. So yeah, just FYI, like I intended to read up more on the things that happened this week, this morning, but then I got a notification that I was in a protocol that got hacked, so that took away some of my preparation time. I did
Mm.
have one thing that I thought, oh my God, I did have one thing that I thought was remarkable. Sorry, there was something with my eye. I was rubbing it, and then something happened with the eyelids.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
um, so an article I saw from Yearn Finance, and that's about a new vault standard. So you know ERC20 and ERC 721, I believe,
Yeah.
but there's also a new ERC called ERC 4626. And
Okay.
basically what it is it's kind of like a token vault standard. Um, and you can basically put anything inside it and um, you know do build on top of it very easily. So
Hmm.
Yearn is going to transition to using this as their main mechanism to to generate yield and to store their yield. And other projects are also adopting this, like Balancer, Maple Finance, Alchemix, Yearn, Rari, Fei. Opus Zeppelin is, is also contributing to it, even though they're not a protocol, of course.
Hmm.
And basically, it is really good for interest-bearing tokens. So, like the Aave interest-bearing tokens, for instance, or some other interest-bearing tokens, because right now, these tokens, and I didn't know this, but from a developer's perspective, these tokens are a mess, and you have to build a lot of complex, basically, adapters that can handle all these type of tokens if you want to build on top of it. So it's not
Hmm.
really standardized right now. So with this new standard, um, these kind of token vaults can be used as the basis for a lot of LP pairs and all these kind of things. So you're going to see a lot more LP pairs where both tokens aren't simple tokens, but they are actually token vaults themselves as well. So basically, DeFi is going to get more complex, but we're also going to get
Hmm.
higher yields out of it and more efficiency, and also a better dev environment basically.
Are those fungible tokens, non-fungible tokens? It sounds like they are non-fungible because they are basically re representing a vault.
Um, I think that they are. I mean, they are fun. I mean, what is your definition of fungible?
Yeah, you can exchange, let's say you have a USDC vault and you have a USDT vault.
Mm.
So you can exchange the USDC vault token for the USDC vault, USDT token, vault token.
Yeah, I think they're fungible. I think
That's
they're
interesting.
yeah. It's I think they're fungible because you're supposed to be able to trade them easily and swap them and
Mm.
pool with them and build on them. So it would make no sense to make them non-fungible in my view, even though the insights of it, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I I'm not
Mm.
entirely I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Um,
Mm.
I didn't have enough time to really look into this standard.
Mm.
But my guess would be because they want to use it as a token standard that other people can build on, that it's going to be fungible.
Mm. What's the number again of the
Yeah,
standard?
4626.
4626. Never heard about it.
Yeah, it's a new standard.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
this is why you haven't heard of it. People are just
Yeah.
starting to build on it, but you're going to see more on it later.
Mm.
And for instance, I know that Beethoven on Phantom is also building on this already. So
Mm.
for instance, there you have LP pairs, and for instance, like a Phantom USDC, but each of these coins are not the Phantom USDC, the pure ones, but the yield-bearing ones from Yearn. So you have like YV Phantom, YV USDC or something, but then with the new
Mm.
standard, something like this. But anyway, it's very complex, and I wonder how to adopt this for my sheet when tokens are going to get more and more complex. But
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting at least.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have
Um,
another topic?
Yeah, so the other topic that's remarkable, I guess, is that I was in a protocol that got hacked. So
Mm.
I got impacted a little bit. The protocol is called Agora on Metis chain,
Mm.
and what it is basically it's a borrow lending protocol like Balancer, and it's also a DEX like SushiSwap. It's kind of like both. And they first started with the borrow lending protocol, and then they built a DEX on top of it. And the idea is that you can borrow and lend with your LPs basically, so
Mm.
to have higher capital efficiency. So I deposited some USDC and USDT there, and I got some Metis airdrops, and also some not Metis. I got some Agora. That is the governance token from the platform. I got that airdropped, and also I earned it because I was a depositor for a while. And I LP paired with this, like kind of like a pool to LP, you know. So I paired it with Metis, and then I staked it for yeah, like 100+% yield, but it
Mhm.
was on a relatively small amount. So surprisingly, what the heck was is basically there was another protocol called Star Stream, and there some hacker got access to the governance address or something. So they got access to I think 500 million of the Stars token. And
Mhm.
what they do with this is not that they just swap it on the DEX for something and then get out. What they did is that they supplied it to Agora. So imagine if sushi got hacked and
Mhm.
you supply your sushi on Aave, and then you borrow against it, and then you get that money out. So basically, you supply sushi on Aave, you borrow USDC and you
Ah.
borrow ETH, and you use those coins to to pump the price of your sushi, and
Mhm.
then you borrow even more, and then you get out basically. So this is what they did. But for me, I did not get impacted on my USDC and USDT supplied miraculously. Well, first of all, the hacker only looked at Metis and USDC and Agora, of course. So my USDT was unimpacted. I don't know why the hacker didn't touch USDT. Maybe they ran out of time or something, or
Mhm.
yeah, it's lower liquidity than USDC, of course. Um, yeah, I wonder why. Maybe because USDT Tether is pretty good at freezing funds very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. This
Maybe this is why they didn't touch
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
So so yeah, basically the platform as a whole lost a lot of USDC and and Metis, but I was able to withdraw my funds. So um, yeah, basically I was not
And you
impacted
lost
on.
basically nothing, right?
Well, I lost a little bit because the price of Agora dropped from like 30 cents to 3 cents.
Mhm.
And I had an Agora LP, like Agora
Mhm.
Metis LP. So I did lose on that LP pair, but it was, like a dinner or something. It wasn't
Mhm.
that, yeah,
Okay.
that scary or something. But yeah, I did learn a couple of things
Mhm.
because I learned, first of all, when you have a borrow lending protocol and you can set a toggle for collateral on or off, like
Yes. Yeah.
when you do this, it has no impact or if you can get hacked or not. So basically, this is only for your own accounting. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean that if you toggle collateral off, that other people can't borrow your deposits. They can still borrow it. It kind of makes sense, but I never really thought about it. And
Wait, if you say toggle off,
yes,
other people can still borrow your assets?
yes, yes.
What the fuck?
If you deposit your token on Aave, people can borrow it. As soon as you
Yeah,
deposit
what's
it.
even the use case of the
Yeah,
toggle?
so I wonder that too. So I think the use case of the toggle is if it makes no sense in dollar terms, but in asset terms, like if you don't want to have the risk to be locked out of an asset because other people are borrowing it, then you can. Oh no, that makes no sense either. Why
Yeah,
would you? Why would you have the toggle?
it's like a security when you buy a
Yeah,
car
maybe it's like an
that the
old
children can't
architecture
open
or
the door.
something. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think it's maybe
Mm.
just like an old balancer architecture that they had in there, and everyone copied it. And you know, uh, the newer protocols don't have this kind of mechanism anymore, right? So um,
Ah, no, no, I disagree.
what, like
Even some
Solent
of
or
them,
something doesn't have this.
not Solent, but
I mean, Larry says
um,
it.
uh, Parrot on Solana as well. Port has it. So
Yeah,
even
yeah.
those,
So I think balancer forks have it, and then other forks don't have it, basically.
yeah, but Port is not a balancer fork. It's built in Rust, so it's you can't fork it.
Yeah, but
Balancer is
yeah,
EVM
I
based.
mean, it's not a fork literally, but they can copy the logic.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm not entirely sure on this aspect, but
Mm.
at least this is what the developers told me, so I'm gonna
Mm.
trust them on this.
What the
Uh,
fuck? Imagine you are a developer and your
mhm.
and your job is to build an awesome product. why in the world would you just say, okay, oh, I don't know why it's in there, I just copy it and I leave it in?
Well,
What the
because
fuck?
it has been audited by Open Zeppelin, like these kind of contracts that they copy, they have been audited by really top companies,
Yeah,
right?
okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
And if you make any change, you can introduce bugs.
Mm,
So the risk reward is not worth
that's a
it.
fair argument. Yeah.
So I guess this, but anyway. So and also the loan to value ratio on the stars. So why did this happen? So there's two reasons. First of all, they allowed non-blue chip assets like stars to be able to be borrowed on Agora. But if you ask me, like, you know, could a mistake happen again to me tomorrow? I think it could because they had a zero point 0.4 loan to value on stars, and I don't think that's a crazy aggressive number in terms of a loan to value on like a non-blue chip asset.
Mm,
So yeah, like this is just the risk of borrow lending protocols in general that have like non-blue chip assets and that don't have isolated vaults, you know. So this is
exactly.
also
Yeah.
why Solend is moving towards isolated vaults, right?
Yeah,
To reduce
exactly.
the ecosystem risk for the whole platform. So yeah, I think this is just an inherent risk that you run into whenever you deposit onto borrow lending protocols that have long tail assets.
Mm,
So yeah, it sucks, but because it's not even the fault of that platform that much, you know. The only thing they could have done is reduce the loan to value ratio even more. And of course, what I do account into is that all of these borrow lending protocols, they allow for flash borrows. Like in my view, they should not do this. They should just put like a delay in there, so people can't just use flash transactions to hack to perform hacks.
mm,
You lose out on a little bit of revenue, of course, because these flash swaps are lucrative for the borrow lending protocols in terms of fees that they generate. But yeah, the risk reward makes no sense to me. So yeah,
yeah.
this is another remarkable thing that happened.
Yeah. I'm glad that you aren't affected that much.
hmm
That you just lost it sounds like 10 to 20 bucks or so, depending on what dinner you're about to eat. Um, I think what you summarized, what protocols can learn out of it,
hmm
I think this is the important part. So, yeah, either listing blue chip stuff so they can't drain your whole protocol, or I see more and more the adoption of isolated pools. Even Aave is going into this direction. They have this
hmm
thing. They don't call it isolated pools. They call it I'm blanking on the name right now, but the new um, structure, it has basically isolated pools.
Okay.
And yeah, so protocols are learning, and I like it. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're forced to do it, like because if you don't have isolated pools and you just have like a blue chip tokens, then what distinguishes you from any other borrow lending protocol, right? You're the same as any other borrow lending protocol basically that has blue chip tokens on there.
yeah.
So yeah, in
The
order to
only
get
thing that could
something
differentiate
spicy,
the
you
two,
need to have isolated pools or some other mechanism.
yeah, the isolated pools are interesting. And the other point is you could increase the loan to value.
I
So
mean,
let's say, for example,
decrease it, you mean?
yeah, but if you want to have more um,
Yeah, okay, I
usage,
see.
you
Yeah,
increase it
yeah,
basically.
but then you take on more risk as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So yeah, it's a tough market.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
let's build
so
a borrowing lending protocol.
yeah. So what about you? What's remarkable for you, Patrick, this week?
Yeah, like I said, I have two topics, but I will skip the second one. I would like to talk about one thing. So, have you ever heard about the protocol Accrue Finance?
I think I've seen it, but if you ask me what it is, I have no clue.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's basically a pretty new protocol on Solana. They are, I think, just two guys, just like we are, basically, for NetherWave. They may have a developer in the background or two, but it's basically lending aggregator for your tokens. And I see more and more, especially on Solana, the use case of lending aggregators. And the remarkable thing happened this week is that they opened up their alpha to 100 early users, and I got picked as being one of the early users, so I can play around with it. And I like it, and I would just like to give you and our listeners a quick explanations about them, because I think the concept of lending aggregator is quite interesting. And you can imagine that they're basically so their product is called Autopilot. So even from the name, you can imagine what they're doing. You supply your single-sided stuff. Let's say, for example, you deposit your USDC, SOL, or BTC, and then they have integrations with protocols, and they have integrations with Francium, or Francium, however you want to call it, Tulip, and Solent. And it's basically like this. They get the data from the different protocols. So let's say, for example, you have USDC and you supply USDC on Francium. You get 8% right now if you do it on your own. But they gather the data of Francium, Tulip, and Solent, and they aggregate your USDC so you get the best yield. They push it from A to B to C to C to B to A, whatever. And I like it because it's pretty similar to what we're doing with Netherwave. We are more like the data overview guys, and they are more like the, okay, we pick out some assets and we pick out some protocols and then we give it the best yield. So I do see some kind of partnership potential right there. They have the product which is called Radar, and Radar is a little bit similar to Netherwave, but Radar is for, let's say, some of more blue chip tokens on Solana. They give you an overview and say, okay, now you get the best supply yield for your array, for example, on Francium, or you get the best on Tulip. So it's more like an overview. But the autopilot, which is the early user version where I'm in, I like it. I think it works quite fine. And yeah, I was just trying to give them a shout out. I like it. What you guys are building is thumbs up. And if you want to learn more, jump into the Discord. They are really responsive. I like them. And you could also vote for them on the Riptide Hackathon. I think they are pretty much happy if you vote them up. They are good guys, responsive, cool protocol, and also the UI and UX is pretty smooth. And so yeah, I like what I'm seeing. I'm hoping that they can expand a little bit more beyond those assets and those protocols, because right now, with our Netherwave stuff, I can get more yield just by doing 30 seconds of research on my USDC and USDT that they're providing me. It's due to the fact that they have little integrations and little assets. So yeah, guys, keep pushing. I know I like what you're doing. So yeah, keep going. That's basically it. Do you have any comment about this?
Yeah, I got some comments. So basically, they don't just do borderline protocols, but any protocol that has single-sided deposits, right? Like
Francium, Tulip,
Francium.
and Solent.
Yeah, okay, but they're gonna add more. I take it. And
Yeah.
what are they doing with the Solent they earn with your money? Do they dump it and then swap it for the token you have and then give it back to you?
Mm, that's actually a good question. I don't know. Um, I would guess that they farm and dump it
Yeah, so I wonder
because
why Solent would collaborate with you if you farm and dump their token.
I'm pretty sure that they don't ask them for the collaboration. They just,
They just said, okay, but you said they had collaborations with Solent, so that's
yeah,
why I
sorry.
thought.
I mean integrations,
Okay,
not
okay,
collaboration.
okay.
Um, those protocols, they can't deny you access, I guess. So this is one of the downsides of being uh, an open protocol.
Hmm.
But I guess, yeah, what do I mean by downsides? Solent does want to have more TVL, right? So I think they wanna. I think they have the job of building good tokenomics. But Mark, let's be honest,
Hmm.
99.9% of all protocols out there have better tokenomics, and they will get farmed and dumped, or newish people will hold the token because they think token goes up. But as soon as you're a little bit longer into DeFi, that's at least my way to go about it. I just farm and dump basically everything.
Yeah, I see your point. And what is interesting about this is that they have this radar as well, right?
Hmm?
But isn't the radar basically competing with their other product? Because why would I put my token in their automated solution if I can use their radar solution and then do it myself, basically?
Hmm.
Right? Because I take it they will ask for fees later on.
Hmm. I think you answered your question on your own.
It's just
Um,
convenience.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay,
I
yeah, I think
think
it's a cool
it's just
concept.
convenience.
I think it's
Yeah.
definitely cool, and you don't see that this too much. It's a little bit like RoboVault on Phantom.
Yeah. Man,
Yeah.
those Robobot guys, they are promising airdrop for ages, and I'm in there like half a year. If
There's
you're listening to this Robobot, give me my airdrop. I'm supplying like a couple of hundred Phantom for half a year, and you're talking about an airdrop. So what's going on there?
well, then they get hacked and stuff. So I think
Yeah, they got hacked, but I need my airdrop, man. Even if they got hacked,
I don't know.
I'm
Maybe ask them
kidding.
in the Discord. I don't know what happened to it, what happened to that.
I'm
But
I'm kidding. They give good APRs,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
enjoy the APRs, and I think they are building something legit. They are pure builders, no marketers.
yeah. I think they're
Um,
there too. Like sooner or later, you may not get an airdrop, but you will at least get your yield.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The deal is fine, and the vaults are always full. I was lucky to get in, and they have like 50 million TVL cap right now, but that's a different topic. Yeah, RoboVault, Phantom. If you guys want to check it
Yeah, yeah.
out,
They have a good
good
product.
farm for
Yeah.
Phantom.
Cool.
Okay, do you want to transition to exciting things?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to start?
Sure. So what excites me for this week? So yeah, this is more something that I disclosed to you already, but right now when I have my sheet, I build some private calculations on top of it. And
Mm,
one of the things I want to do is basically you supply a token to a Berliner protocol, you borrow a stablecoin, and then you swap the stablecoin for a riskier stablecoin or for some kind of LP pair, a stable pair, basically, to get higher yield.
mm,
So I want to really try out and see um, what the yield is when you do this kind of um, strategy instead
mm,
of just borrowing something and then farming it directly. Um, yeah, so basically I want to try this out. And another thing I'm excited about it, I want to try out. I actually wanted to install Solana this week, but
Installing Solana, what does this mean?
you have to like the Solana SDK, right? If you want to program and interact with Solana.
Ah,
So
okay.
I installed Rust, and that was very easy. But I'm having actually difficulties installing Solana on my Windows PC. And following their
Mm.
official instructions, it uses like a PowerShell script. It doesn't do anything for me. So
Oh,
even just getting Solana installed is hard.
okay. I
So
need to sell my fucking
this
Solana because
this is
if this is
why we are
gone,
still so early, Patrick.
yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is basically I'm gonna install something called I think it's called like Linux servers for Windows or something.
Mhm,
Basically, it's like the Linux command line, like Bash, inside Windows. So basically, I'm gonna use the Linux instructions to install my Solana inside my Windows, and but it thinks it's Linux, and that way
mm,
I can install it on Windows. So I'm gonna try this detour to see if I can install Solana.
mm.
But anyway, I was just surprised at how hard it is to even
Yeah,
just
that
get
sounds
started.
convenient.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
imagine that. So let's imagine installing is hard,
Mhm.
and imagine that on top they would have congestive issues with the blockchain. Imagine that. Man, Solana is just so early, so bitter, so bad, and so bleh. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's they're having big issues right now, and yeah, I'm not quite sure if they are right now a better product than Cardano because Cardano has no protocols. But imagine that you want to use the blockchain, and
yeah.
I I was about to make a transaction this week, some migration, and it failed like 10 times, and I was sitting there like 20 minutes, clicking fail.
Mm.
So annoying. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that they will figure it out, but for now,
I just had an analogy for Solana.
mm,
Solana, you know the Concorde airplane.
yeah.
Solana is like the Concorde airplane. So they are super fast. They are like world class. If everything
Mm,
goes well, it is the best experience out there, the best
mm,
technology. But usually it is the Concorde is in the garage,
that's
not
true.
flying, and people are not
Yeah,
people are not using it.
yeah, that's
So
totally
basically,
true.
Solana is the Concorde of blockchains. But
Yeah,
yeah, someday that Concorde will get fixed and will fly, hopefully. So yeah.
yeah. Hopefully, they are not building a Concorde because they got stopped building because they were way too expensive building. And yeah, even so, either VCs pump money in there, retail pumps money in there, or they build not a real Concorde, or they build more like a, I don't know. I'm not that familiar with airplanes, but a fast one.
Yeah. Yeah, just one more thing that I'd like to just discuss pretty quickly. Um, did you hear the news that Do Kwon is going to use AVAX to similar to BTC to sturdy up their Luna
Mm-mm.
USD.
Don't heard about it.
Okay, so this is like a relatively new news that came out, I think, yesterday.
Mm.
So I'm kind of like he could have chosen to use Solana as well, because there's not any inherent
Mm.
synergy between Avalanche
Yeah,
and
interesting.
Terra because Terra is not EVM compatible, right? So
Yeah. Mm.
I don't see there's any inherent synergy. So it is pretty bearish for Solana that they picked AVAX above Sol, even though
Ah.
they both, like Dokwan and Anatoly, they can get along really well as well, So yeah, I thought that was also kind of another bit of a bearish tidbit that Solana was passed over, even though it's the
Mm.
bigger protocol,
Mm.
and they decided to go with AVAX instead.
Mm. I kind of disagree because I think I have a little bit more information.
Hmm.
There is this Empire podcast which I really like,
Hmm.
and they had Do Kwon on there a couple of days ago. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Oh,
if I recall correct, there was this short 30-second sequence in there where the big guy, the Jason guy or whatever his name is,
hmm.
Jason and Santiago, Jason said something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, "Hey, Joe, wouldn't it make sense to back it up by Solana? Because I'm pretty sure that they talked about Avalanche, and then he asked specifically for Solana,
Oh, okay.
and then Joe said, no comment, but that wouldn't be smart, wouldn't it? So yeah, this was basically so it may come. Is basically what I'm about to say. It may come.
Oh, okay. You mean he said that would be smart, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I see, I
This
see.
what he said. So he said neither yes or no. He said
Hmm.
it wouldn't be
Hmm.
smart, wouldn't it?
Okay,
So,
okay. Awesome.
but I'm just taking this out of my mind. It could be a different phrasing, but it was
Hmm.
something along those lines.
Cool. Okay.
Okay, okay. I have two things I'm excited about. Do you have anything else?
No?
Okay. Um, okay. I'm excited for Ethereum, and I'm totally excited for it. And I've been excited for it for years, and I'm listening to the Daily Gray every single day. It's totally superb to see the development of the ecosystem. And I was meditating about 2 hours ago, and usually my mind is pretty calm when I meditate. But suddenly a question popped into my mind, and I would just like to hear your personal opinion about it.
Hmm.
Do you think ETH will flip in BTC? And if so, when? And what percentage do you give it for happening? So, do you think it will happen? If so, when? And what likelihood do you see of it happening?
Um, yeah, I think it will happen because
It will or it won't?
it will.
It will, okay.
Yeah, so I think ETH will flip BTC simply
Nice.
because it has more network effects than BTC. Um, but I'm not sure if it's going to retain that
Mm,
number one spot for a long time. So Bitcoin may flip it back at some point. And when it will happen, I'm not sure. Like if it happens, it needs to happen fast. It needs to happen this year or next year. If it doesn't happen this year or next year, I would be pretty bearish for it happening in the future.
mm, why?
Um, because, well, I hope I'm wrong for your sake and also for my sake. Was Bitcoin?
Mm,
I mean, ETH is my second highest holding probably. No, my third highest after BTC and ILV.
mm,
So I think that Ethereum is yeah. Yeah, personally, I'm not so hyped for Ethereum as you are. Like I can understand, what's happening, a part of the narrative, but I think basically, if I understand it correctly, this is basically the dream that the ETH fans are hoping for, right? So you have the merge, right, coming up,
mm-hmm,
and a lot of people are gonna stake or they're gonna unstake, but either way, the price is gonna go up a lot because it's gonna be disinflationary and the price is going to pump. And then we're going to have layer 2 season where the layer 2s get cheaper. Can you still hear me, by the way?
yeah, you were gone for a second, but we can just
Okay.
keep going.
Okay, sorry. So basically layer 2 season where the fees get lower and a lot of activity happens on layer 2. And also you also have the ZK chains and they will gain a lot of popularity and they will become the biggest chains. This is
Mm,
basically the ETH Maxi vision, right? So,
Uh,
sorry, go
I
ahead.
would no. I would phrase it different, but please keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm skeptical at some of these angles. So I don't necessarily see Arbitrum or Optimism or even the ZK chains to overtake Avalanche, Solana, Terra. I don't see this happening whatsoever. I see the ETH dominance in DeFi decreasing even. Like it's been decreasing for months and months and months, and it's continuing to decrease. So yeah, I can see the part of the merge and the this inflationary aspect, and of course I can also see that more institutions are entering ETH, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't see the part where the DeFi part or like the L2 part of ETH is gonna necessarily take off. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so and this is basically if this doesn't happen, then ETH is gonna constrain it itself because no one is gonna use it due to the high fees, right? So if the fees on it are high and chains aren't and the chains that use it aren't that popular, then what's left of ETH basically.
Um, okay, and what likelihood do you see in percentages that this will happen over the next, you said 12 to 24 months, right?
Yeah, so I think the likelihood of it flipping is in the next 12 to 24 months is yeah, I don't know,
Don't
maybe
say 50%.
no, I would say maybe 25% or something,
Wow, okay.
maybe something like this.
Wow.
Um, but then if you ask me, what is the chance that ETH will be higher than BTC in 2 years? Then yeah, then I wouldn't say, then I may also say 25%, So
Mm-hmm.
in 2 years, I think something else could be either number one or BTC is number one. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, maybe I'm totally wrong, So I could be totally wrong, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I hope ETH does really well, of course.
Yeah,
So,
cool.
what do you think? So, what makes you so excited?
I think in regards to time, I can't give you my bullish Ethereum case because this would take like half an hour, but I will keep it super short, okay?
Hmm.
Um, I think that Ethereum is it may sound weird, but even you as a DeFi user, you have very little knowledge about the roadmap of Ethereum. A lot of the things that you've said, they're not really needed in order to see the Ethereum vision succeed. The layer twos, they don't have to take off, for example, in order to get to the Ethereum roadmap. So I think it's misunderstood, and it's due to the fact that it's complicated. And so I'm bullish on Ethereum because the roadmap, especially of building this modular blockchain system, is really, really convenient for me because, yeah, just to give you, oh man, I could go into so many different tangents, but I will just ask you one question, and you don't need to answer it, but just for listeners, maybe think about it. What would it mean if other layer ones would settle on Ethereum? So Ethereum is the de facto layer one blockchain where everyone sees, okay, this is the truth. So they are basically outsourcing their security mechanism. And I can go into deep tangent on why this might be a really interesting use case, but just think about it. And maybe we can talk about this a little bit more in the upcoming episodes. But this is one of my biggest bull cases. I don't think that the scaling is the big bull case, more the settlement and being deflationary.
Yeah, yeah, we need to discuss this at some point because I don't see the settlement. I don't see why other chains would pay privilege to ETH for their security when they can just make their own chain and make more money than if they. I think if what you say will happen, that a lot of chains will basically use ETH for the settlement, then why hasn't it already happened? You know,
Yeah, because right now VCs are paying for the security model.
and what makes there be a shortage of VCs in the future to pay for the security model?
They are losing like tens of billions every single year, and I think that VCs are not into the business of losing tens of billions every single year. They are trying to hype something until it gets adoptions, until retail adopts it. And I think over the long term, I think this is not a sustainable business model. It's pretty much the same. Imagine that we have halving after halving after halving after halving for Bitcoin. And let's imagine in three halvings or so, the miners get paid, I don't know, one Bitcoin for every single block, roughly, right?
Hmm.
And let's imagine the BTC price is at $20,000 at this point. The security model breaks down, my friend. And I think the layer ones have a really big issue that the security model just breaks down if prices goes too low, or if VCs are not willing to incentivize this with tens of billions of dollars every single year. Um, their math just doesn't add up between generating revenue, and generating revenue is basically selling your block space and yeah, paying for security that other people can't come in and basically yeah take your chain.
Okay, yeah, I see your argument. I just don't know if there won't be a shortage of VCs starting up new chains. So you will never reach that point of saturation where the security becomes an issue because there's always a next new hot chain coming up.
Yeah,
That's good.
you could ask yourself the question maybe for BTC. BTC doesn't have a VC, and what will happen if BTC goes to the halvings and BTC is in a situation in 3 halvings in 12 years where the security model doesn't add up? What will happen then?
Yeah, I'm
And
not sure.
I don't have an
For
answer.
BTC, I would need to look into it because I know that this is Hasu's argument, right? And yeah, I need to see why Bitcoiners aren't too worried about this, basically, because there must be also another counter for this, but I don't
Yeah,
know it. But yeah,
yeah,
that would be a valid argument if there's no good counter for it.
yeah. Sorry for a little tangent, dear listeners. I'm a pretty big ETH bull, and it's really tough to explain those nuanced concepts where I might live in my own bubble. But I think this would make for a really great debate because you do bring up fair points. Um, Maybe I do live in a bubble and I'm too informed. It's pretty much like Illuvium for you, right? Maybe we can transition to Illuvium because this is my other exciting thing for this weekend. Maybe we can keep it quite short. Let's take
Sure.
5 minutes or so. Because I think you are living in a really big Illuvium bubble in comparison to me.
Hmm.
I have no idea what is happening, and Illuvium is your biggest bag. And I think I could ask you so much about Illuvium and so much about the tokenomics, about VCs that got really rich, they could dump, and retail guys could sit on the streets being broken. But that's not my thing where I'm excited about. I would like to ask you a specific question what I'm excited about.
Hmm.
So I'm excited for gaming. I would like to game, Mark. I
Okay.
haven't gamed in ages. And yeah, my
Hmm.
question is basically, um, so I wrote down 3 questions, and maybe you can tackle them
Hmm.
in a short amount of time. The first question is, when will some kind of game version gets released? So when will I be able to play something?
Hmm.
What will this game look like, and what do I need to play it? And yeah, maybe you can help me with it because I'm excited for Luvium.
Yeah, sure.
Um, I like what I'm seeing, and I just want to have some fun really playing the game. I want to
Okay.
experience it. So yeah, what about gaming, Mark? What do I need? When will I be able to? And what will it look like?
Yeah, so basically, Illuvium is basically like an auto battler and then like a world game, right? Where you are in the world, you capture things, and then you battle them in like this auto battle kind of style.
Hmm.
So they are still working on the world part because they haven't finished all the worlds yet, and they want to improve the physics and these kind of things. So what they've
Hmm.
done is they've taken out the battle part and put that as like a standalone demo. And that demo, they were gonna make that a closed beta, but they decided, hey, why not make this an open beta? Because that way, a lot more people will be excited about it, and we have nothing
Hmm.
to hide, and it may generate some hype about the game already. So they're gonna open beta the auto battle part.
Nice.
But because you can't, like normally in a game, you fight some beast that you see in the world, and then you battle it and you win it basically. But they can't beta this, of course, because you don't have the world part. So what they are doing is they have like like a, I don't know what you call it, like a zombie mode, but you have wave after wave. So you have
Hmm.
it gets harder and harder and harder, and at some point you get overwhelmed by the
Like the
opponent.
tower defense games
Yeah,
on
it's like a
boss.
tower
Oh,
defense game. So it has
nice.
rounds, and yeah, basically you can try to survive the rounds. And yeah, if you're interested in that kind of game, it should come out this month. But yeah, TM,
Metis?
the Blizzard trademark. If it's not this month, it's gonna be next month. But one of one of these two. But their goal is, I think, this month to bring it out. And I know that you'll get a new MacBook, right? So you'll be able to play it
Yeah.
on that new MacBook for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, so then you can try it out, and then you should let me know because I won't be able to play it probably with my PC. So yeah, there's that. And if you want to see what it looks like, There's the two founders. They put a $1 million bet on a battle for each other. So they battled each other 2 weeks ago, and it was a draw in a number of ways.
Okay.
So now they're continuing the battle now, this tonight. So there's a stream if you want to see it on YouTube where they continue the battle. And this is basically they play the same game that you will be playing
Okay, cool.
as like an open beta.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah, you can already check
Oh,
it out. And they're also live streaming it in the Discord every once in a while when they're practicing. So sometimes you can
cool.
also catch them in the Discord.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Thanks for pointing it out. I will check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, little bit of gaming would be fun, and but you told me that I need to spend a little bit of ease, so
No, well, yeah, for this one you don't have to spend ETH, so don't worry about it.
okay.
It's fully, it's basically fully beta, so you lose everything. They may give some ILV to the people who have high scores, but that's
Hmm.
probably going to be pretty hard to achieve.
Yeah, a lot
But
of people will play it, right?
yeah, I think a lot of people have played, and some people are already really good because they've been checking all the streams and know
Mm.
it's pretty deep strategically, right? So yeah, it will be pretty hard to do well unless you really spend time learning the strategies and the synergy and stuff like this.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah,
Great. Yeah, thank you.
sure.
Do you want to transition to our portfolio challenge and then wrap it up?
Yep.
Okie dokie. Yeah,
Uh,
how did your week perform?
yeah. So what happened this week? So I was in Atrix earlier this week, and the yields were dropping. I was in the Sol USDC pool, and yeah, the yields were dropping at some point. So I decided to take it out of Atrix and put it into a Cropper, and then I continued there for the rest of the week. And furthermore, I also have some USDC, some spare laying around. And what I did with that is I deposited, I think, to Solent. No, not to Solent, to Francium. To Francium. So yeah, so basically this week I lost 28 bucks, but and or 3.33%. I went from 845 to 817, but
Hmm?
Solana dropped more. So I gained in Sol terms, I gained zero point 0.4
Mm.
Sol. So yeah, I did all right, I guess. Solana dropped and I had more than 50% USDC, so it makes sense that I outperformed
Mm.
Solana. And how did you do?
Um, yeah, so I basically found $9. So I don't know what went on there. I think most likely over the last couple of weeks, I forgot about a small portfolio part, like $5 to $10. So no big difference. I went from 522 to 531. So basically, I found the $9, but Sol went down and all the other prices went down. So yeah, I think I might have mistracked it. I made one change, and this is the alpha I can share with you and our listeners. So I had about one Sol sitting in Francium to give me like 10% APY or so. That's usually what you get on Francium for having single-sided supply Sol. Then I was listening to an AMA this week, so on Ask Me Anything of Steven. Hi, I'm Steven, the calculator guy. You know him, right? And he had the AMA with Friction.
Hmm.
And I encourage you and our listeners to listen to the AMA because there was some alpha in there in regards to a potential token distribution, token event. And this led me to the following. This led me to first buying a Lightning OG NFT on my own account, so not the portfolio challenge, because it costs like one Sol and I don't want to spend one Sol on this Lightning OG. I did it from my own personal allocation. So they basically said, hey guys, we might have a token distribution coming up, and we will reward early users and holders of our NFT. So this led me to buying an NFT, and this also led me to the point that so most of the protocols out there, when they do a token launch, they do it either just based on the transactions you're doing. Let's say, for example, you made like 10 transactions or one transaction, and then you get a fixed allocation. Let's say 10 of the tokens, and other do it per rata. So per rata means basically, let's say they have $1 million supplied, and you supply 100K, you get 10% of the allocation because you have 100K out of a million. It's basically per rata. This led me to the point that I took my Sol from Francium put it into Friction, sell a covered call on Friction for Sol. So yeah, Sol dumped a little bit this week, so I even made money on the selling the covered call, and this is my only adjustment. So I'm right now in Chest Finance, Katana, and Friction, selling covered calls, and I'm also having $20 sitting in my wallet. I don't know what to do with it right now. It's just $20 of Sol because you sometimes have to pay fees. And yeah, it's just sitting there for convenience that I don't need to think about, okay, do I have enough Sol for making a transaction? So this is what I'm doing right now. So the alpha is basically listen to the AMA of Steven, the calculator guy. And you might want to consider buying an NFT, and you might want to consider depositing a little bit more into Friction. But again, no financial advice here, just we share what we are doing, and this is what I'm doing. And I think it might be a good bet. And yeah, this is why I like it, and this is why I did it.
Okay, cool. And you haven't heard of any airdrops for the other things you've been in, right? Like Chess and Katana.
Katana, no. Chest has announced their airdrop allocation a couple of weeks or months ago. They will pay out, so they're preparing for their IDO right now. And when they're doing the IDO, they pay out, from the top of my head, 24% airdrop, 12% goes to NFT holders, and 12% goes to early users. So they basically announced that they do it. Katana, total silence. No word about an airdrop, no word about anything. Yeah, I like the product. I get good APY, so even if they never do an airdrop, it's okay for me. I just get really good yield on their vaults, and I just enjoy having 30% APY on my Sol. Yeah.
Are they outperforming Friction for you? Because usually I think the APYs on Friction in my sheet are higher than Katana.
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know. And the whole APY calculation, totally different topic. They calculate it so weird. Yeah, you may want to do your own due diligence if you want to compare it, because I will just give out, listeners, the small tangent. Let's say, for example, you sell a covered call, and selling a covered call means basically that you're selling your upside. Let's say you sell one covered call with a strike price of $110, and Sol is at $100. And if Sol goes to 120, you're basically you losing money on your Sol because you could have just hold it and your Sol would be worth 120. So you basically lost money on holding, but they frame it in a way where you make money because they're just taking into consideration the premium that you are getting for selling your option. So you're basically making money with every single sold covered call. But I think that's not a good way to phrase it. You should take into consideration the premium in comparison to the difference between holding and selling a covered call. So yeah, please do your own due diligence. I have little money on there because our portfolio challenge is quite small. And if I were to have more money in there, I for sure would run the numbers a little bit closer. But for now, it's just irrelevant for me because I do it mainly for airdrop hunting.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anything else on your mind, or do you want to wrap it up?
No, let's wrap it up, Patrick.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, thoughts, and whatever, please jump into our Discord. Let us know what excites you, and if you want to support us, there is a link in the description for the Riptide Hackathon. Please upvote. This would help us a lot. And yeah, guys, see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.